was able to open up a Stargate in his room.
Whatever you want to call it. It was a different dimension.
Yeah, a portal. Well, portal would be the actual name.
And I've been so embarrassed to say it out loud that everybody would laugh at me or lock me up. You know, I only told my aunt.
So tell me what happened. Something's not right. Something's scary in that room. Describe what you see and what happens.
I went to the edge of the doorway and I peeked in there, and I was afraid just to peek. And there was something happening in there, like a sci-fi movie. And there was something, he set him up like a little Stonehenge on his bed, and he was tiny, like I told you, so tiny. And he was jumping up and down, and he was saying, "Moon, come play with my friends." Okay, that right there says he knew exactly what he was doing. It wasn't like he accidentally opened a portal and didn't know what he had friends. So I peeked in there, and I was so scared. I'm embarrassed to tell this, it's so ridiculously weird. And he was being lifted, and he was starting to go. He was being lifted, and like he was being lifted, and was being sucked in. I know this sounds ridiculous, but my aunt told me, don't let nothing happen to that effing little kid. And normally I would never let anything happen to a child that was watching. I would run between them and a pit bull. And I said, the way she said it, I said, why? And she goes, he's going to rule the world someday. And I'm like, what? Him? What do you mean? Why? And she said, don't you know nothing? They're the Illuminati. She would always do that to me. But she'd say, don't let nothing happen to him. He's going to rule the world someday. And I was like, that kid? You know, so I grabbed his little arm and I got sucked in. I got sucked into, it's like we went up and then we went down. And it was dark in there, but it was glowing. And I can only tell you that when I remember my peripheral vision, because I was afraid to look at it, because when you're a little kid and you look at the cartoons and there's a bad boogeyman in the Scooby-Doo and you see its glowing eyes, it's like, don't look at its eyes, he'll get you. And I remember that whole, oh, if you don't look at their eyes, they can't get you. And I was being sucked in and sucked down, and I had his little arm. And it was weird because there was no bottom. And there were these creatures in there, and they were giant, and they were semi-shaped like humans. They were glorious. They weren't like Smeagol's or any creepy little demon dudes. They were like beautiful, ancient creatures that moved in a different time, and they were giant. And they had a different head. There was a bird head and a cat head and a jackal head. And I would compare them, because I'm not super educated, to Egyptian type of things. Okay, after he did that, opening the portal thing, I didn't tell what he did. And then I asked one of my the head mother of the Santeria, and I think she's the head mother of those people that are Southern Borders they're calling them in. Okay, they paid for this a long time ago. But I said, is he the Antichrist? And she didn't blink. She said, no, but he will present the mark. And when you see him do that, the stage will be set.
He said that?
He said that. The stage will be set for the Antichrist to step forward. So August 28th, 2020, Elon Musk presented the Neuralink.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is the mark of the beast the image of the beast to be worshipped? Are they the same thing?
Illuminati comme Tupac, c'est l'infâme sur le beat. Oublie pas les barbares, une balle ça part vite. Demande à Malcolm X, j'ai plus faim comme Gandhi. C'est la révolte, je vous dis. Plus j'avance et plus je grandis. Je repense à Kunta quitté derrière des chaînes pour voir toute cette merde diffusée sur toutes les chaînes. Parole Julien Assange et aux années trous de Mandela, au Bob de Bob Marley sous un nuage de ganja. L'histoire traverse les époques et j'espère laisser une trace comme un tableau de Van Gogh tout claqué qui se vend des milliards. Ils veulent notre place comme Rosa Parks, on est des terres comme Luther, toujours le point levé pour honorer la fierté de nos pères. Parole de Prodigy avec un coup de boule de Zinedine. On fait trop honte à la France pour goûter ce millésime. Tu peux demander à Moki, ceux qui dénoncent les élites depuis des piges et des piges comme ces fous, dis-moi qui suis-je. Parole de Kennedy, on est tous contrôlés, liberté d'expression au shot, tu peux demander à Dieu donné. C'est vraiment triste notre époque où les bavures règnent. Tiens mon master derrière les barreaux, c'est qui nous craignent. J'entendrai jamais ma veste comme les frères avec leur Versace. Donnent du bif à des millionnaires en laissant leur pays se faire racheter. C'est dramatique pour ceux qui donnent de leur vie, un combattu jour et nuit face aux malins et toutes ces combines. Je suis un requin vicieux, un Black Dragon, un Black Panther, pas un guignol marketing. Le Black Panther, Tar Marvel. Ils veulent effacer notre histoire, à nous de faire notre propre recherche. Y a toujours de l'espoir, à toi de saisir la bonne perche mon frère. Que meurt l'enfant.